Dr. Christy Ennis. After having lots and lots of injuries, illnesses, and just plain old clumsy, I know exactly what it's like to have a stiff and a sore hip. You know, the kind where you're like, oh my gosh, I have to get down on the toilet. And you really have to think about that one. So I'm going to show you today 3 different mobility exercises that I have used over time that really make me feel a lot better, and my patients tell me help them feel a lot better as well. There is going to be 1 exercise lying down, which you can do on the ground or on your bed. You don't have to get down onto the floor, and 2 that are standing. And for the standing ones, you may want to have something sturdy next to you in case you need to for balance, since we're really working on just opening up those hips and not the balance part. Our first exercise is lying down, and it's one I actually often do in bed, as long as I don't hit my husband, before I even get out of bed to help me start feeling better. You know, if you've been sleeping all night, you can tend to be a little bit stiff, so this is a great way to wake up for the morning. So you're gonna bring your feet, if you're on a mat, about mat width, right? So wider than hip width apart. And this is we're working on the muscles that rotate the hips both out and in, and some of those muscles in the front there that help flex the hip. So we're gonna start by dropping both knees over to one side. As I do this, I'm taking my hand, placing it on that outside leg, and then I'm gonna sweep my arm up and even add a bit of a rotation. Now that gets the side, but it's getting in through the front of that hip a little bit too. And then coming back up to the middle, I'm actually gonna take both legs wide, and you're not gonna go all the way down to the mat. Just give a little bit of a gentle press there, and then we're gonna switch and rotate to the other side. That opposite arm kind of sweeps up, and I'm giving a gentle press down here to work through the rotation as well as through that hip flexor. So you do not have to add the arms in at all if that's not comfortable for you, or even pause in the middle. Just this little windshield wiper feels so stinking good, but I like the additions. I came up with these not that long ago when everything was feeling really stiff and tight. You want to shoot for about 5 on each side. If that doesn't feel good, you can certainly do less, but that tends to be where I end up going, is about that 5 repetitions. And you can do this one, of course, a couple times during the day as well, not just in the morning when you get up. Our second exercise is standing. You can do this at work, at home, at the gym, anywhere you are. Just make sure you have something sturdy, table, chair, wall. If you happen to have a lovely bar like I do, you could use that as well. And I love doing this one after sitting. This is one that I do frequently during the day to break some of that sitting up, even though I don't sit all that much. For me, it's enough. So we're getting the hip flexor, the front of those muscles on one side, and the opposite side is the hamstring, so the back of the leg and into those calves. So hanging on if need be for balance, you're gonna do a little pelvic tuck, or posterior pelvic tuck, where you're tucking that tailbone underneath, right? So kind of flattening out that lower back. And then you're gonna take and press that hip forward. You don't have to do a huge movement to start feeling that right through the front of that hip. From there, again, just like a nice breath or so, you're going to straighten both of those legs, shift your weight back. My back is flat. The opposite foot toes are coming up. That gets that calf a little bit more. And now we've got the back of the leg, the upper leg, the hamstring, and in through that calf. And again, you're just kind of shifting back and forth. You can add an arm in here too when you come up here to really get that hip flexor a little more, even a touch of a side bend. And now you look like a pretty ballerina. And then coming back again and shifting back. You can keep a little bend in this back knee if that's more comfortable for you. If you want a little bit more to get in through this butt a little bit, this is the challenging one. So that first exercise we did will certainly get those hip rotators. So just keep that in mind if this one is too much. But as you come back from that hamstring, if you take that leg and cross it above the knee, not directly on the knee, and then sit back and open that leg up, and then come right back up, and you can go right back into that hip flexor, right into that hamstring, and shoot for 3 to 5 repetitions on each side here. For our last exercise, we're going to really work again through those hip flexors and those inner thighs this time. So we're going to stand nice and wide, at least hip width apart. If you can get a little wider, you're going to get more of a stretch. Arms are going to come overhead, and now I'm actually arching back just a touch, so I'm getting through the front and in through the And then coming back forward, I am gonna lunge out to one side, so I'm really stretching through this inner thigh. And then of course alternating and stretching out to that other side. Now, if that hurts or bothers your knee for any reason, you can do this with straighter legs. So just a tiny bend, I'm shifting my hips back and still kind of pushing this hip inwards. So notice I'm not really bending my knee that much. The goal is really trying to get that stretch in through there. So again, 3 to 5 repetitions, right, where you're doing both that lift and that little shift side to side. Thank you so much for tuning in today, you guys. If you want to get rid of pain anywhere in your body on your own with just one little portable device, don't forget to check out the Derma Edge. I created this while I was going through Lyme disease to help get rid of my pain on my own, nice and gently. It's patented and made in the US, actually right down the road in Laconia from where my office is. So don't forget, you can click the link here or in the description to order your own.